Rick, it's Raul, man. It's October 9, 2023, John Lennon's birthday. I'm standing out here on this Telfair Elementary School. Yeah, this school was here back in 1972 when Julio, Tony, and myself were walking up this sidewalk right here. Across the street's the 118 freeway. Here I'm at Paxton Street, and I'm standing on Paxton, and this is Telfair Avenue right here, right? Well, we're walking, on the way to what they call the unemployment office, which is not a real cool thing to call it. Now they renamed it to the Employment Development Department. That sounds a lot better. But we are going because, Julio and I just graduated from Pacoima Junior High School in June 1972. It's early summer. This is like, maybe a week later. Our neighbor, Major Kyles, I'm sure you remember him. Leonard Major Kyles, his brother Lafayette worked at the unemployment office, and he had told us that Major, I guess he told Major to tell him and ourselves, right, to tell him, hey, there's some summer jobs available for you guys for the summer. You make some money, right? So we're walking up this street to go to the unemployment office, which is right here at the corner of Paxton and San Fernando Road, just hanging right there on San Fernando Road. And as we're walking here, Julio tells us, hey man, you know what they're gonna do here? And I said, what's that? He goes, they're gonna knock down some homes here, man. I said, really? Why? He said, they're putting the freeway here. See, there's no freeway obviously back then. The 118 didn't exist. And I can't recall where these homes were because he pointed them out. And ironically, 9 years later, on October 16th, 1981, Julio was killed here. He was on the freeway up there, and he was almost get ready to exit. Though this part right here, you see this overpass, is not where he was going to exit. He was going to continue straight onto an exit that would take him to, he would exit at Paxton, which would take him to, I believe it's called Bradley, the street called Bradley. And yeah, Bradley, so what he would have to do is exit, stop, and it's Paxton, make a right, Bradley, make another right, and it'll take him home to Woodcock, where he lived with his parents, But he was struck on the freeway by this Joseph Patrick Settle. He was racing with another guy. And ironically, you think about all these years later, this horrible accident happened. And Julio was talking to us 9 years earlier on that beautiful early summer day. The three of us were walking together here, telling us, hey man, they're gonna put a freeway here. Now isn't that ironic, And so I'm gonna cross the street and I'll show you where his body landed, because it was really horrific, man, because there was no barrier up there. Just a little curb. I mean, the size of maybe a foot high, or not even that. He just went right over that curb and he just did a rollover. This guy hit him at full throttle, maybe 100 miles an hour. He was driving a Barracuda. Those things go like 140 miles an hour. And so here it is. This is where he did a rollover. So then he was ejected out of the truck, because in those days, we didn't wear seatbelts. It wasn't required unless you wanted to. And some cars, I believe, didn't even have seatbelts. And so I remember this pillar right here, because he came over the next day, and we were told, hey, this is where your cousin's body landed, right here. So this is where it is. I don't know, maybe some friends, some people come and maybe they place flowers here that knew Julio, because Julio was really, really popular, man. In his wake, there was it seemed like about 200 people there, roughly 100 to 200 people. So this is where Julio's body landed, right here. He just hit the fence here. And it's interesting, it's got some damage right here, right where see, this is where Julio's body was, probably around here, right there. He came down from up that hill. See how steep it is? He came rolling down and he slammed up against this fence here, One of these, not this one. It's not this one here. It's most likely this one. Back up here. Or this one. Right here. And then the bastard that hit him, he just coasted down that way and he hit the fence across the street. And one of his friends just had a bump on his head. It's nothing. He was just standing there, looking over here. And my tío, the truck landed right here on Paxton, right in the middle here. And it was on its side, and my tío was jammed on where your feet go. She was jammed in there, and my tío's body was out of the truck, but he just rolled out. Like he didn't really suffer any real. He was in the hospital, of course. He was banged up, but I mean, he didn't have any skull fractures or anything like that. And but he just kind of like when the truck, I don't know, is it because these people across the street, this house right here, they and some of these neighbors, they pushed the truck up on its wheels, and then the Sun magazine, it's sold now, and everything's bilingual, you know. The Sun newspaper had the picture where the guy was standing over here. He took a picture of the truck, but he took it at an angle where you couldn't see Julio's body. See, the truck was laying around here, and it was facing that way, facing where that bus is going, facing at a westerly direction. And but Julio, there was a dog right here. It was really bizarre because that picture was a guy standing here looking at Julio's body. He was about standing right here, and there was a dog, and then Julio was laying about right here somewhere, you know. And and it's interestingly, a few days later, I came over to these people across the street and talked to them about what happened. And this guy told me, "Oh man, I saw your cousin's body coming down that embankment, man, and slamming up against that fence. And what happened? He had sheared off a piece of lumber up there. He hit a piece of lumber, and that thing ended up on top of him, just smashing him. He was just totally destroyed, man, physically. Julio, he didn't have a chance. And then this girl across the street who was visiting, it was only 8:30 in the evening, man. It was nighttime, but it wasn't like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning when you would maybe race with somebody or do something stupid like that. So this young lady was visiting this young man that lived across the street, and she said, "I'm gonna go help that guy," and he says, "I'm not going over there, man." And she came over here, and she kind of knelt down right in here and was looking at Julio. I don't know what she did, but she was killed. He told me 2 weeks later she was killed in a car accident over on the 126, over the one that goes to, that's a real scary road, man. It's basically a two-laner, and you got to have your wits about you. You can't be high, you can't be sleepy, because there's a lot of winding roads. She and a friend went right into a tree. She got killed. It's kind of spooky. It was like Julio said, "You're coming with me, but you're coming with me a couple of weeks later," kind of thing. It's kind of spooky, you know. And but then my tío, they were taken to the hospital, and my tío had a real bad lumbar injury, her lower back. She just was never the same, you know. And but here it is. This is Eldorado Avenue. This is where Julio, the body was, that's where he landed, and they were just, he was gone now. You know, it was over. And this bastard only did 3 months time in jail, 3 months, suspended sentence, and 3 years probation. That's it. Because, being Italian, they got connections. They supposedly hired a former district attorney, who knew his stuff. He knew people. See, he knows judges. He knows the prosecution. He knows all that. See, so they know how to get people off the hook. And this was his first offense. It was just really unfortunate that Julio was where he was, because this bastard was going to do this anyways at some point, and it had to be Julio, man. It's just one of those really unfortunate things, man. A real misfortune, because, like I said in that prior video, Vicky had my tia staying at the hospital. My tia should have been home. Julio should have been home with Donna and the kids, but he was on the freeway. And then the other one was where he says, "Hey man, hey, let's go. Hey Dad, let's go get some McDonald's, man, across the street." Because I know how Julio loved that all-American meal, And Juan said, "No, let's just go home." And that's another chance that the Lord gave. I think the Lord was working on Julio's side on this, trying to, there's things were happening that, that I think that could have, saved his life right there, but it was not to be, man. So I just thought I'd come out, and I just wanted to let you know how ironic this is that Julio, on that beautiful June day, man, we had just graduated from junior high. We're having a ball. No drugs. Nobody's doing drugs. We're kids, and playing basketball and baseball and, all that great music. And then but then that summer we did get those jobs. In about a couple of weeks, they were picking us up from home, and they were taking us to Porter Ranch up there in Northridge. It was all Anglo, all white people. Here we come in the bus, school bus. Us Chicanos and blacks, man, up there. I said, man, this is a nice place up here, man. I never heard of this place, And Julio said, right on, man, We planted some trees. I know where my tree is, but I don't know where Julio planted his tree, but we planted trees at a park. And that's what was great about those times. You had jobs for kids, to keep us out of trouble and keep us focused on doing something positive. And I took Michelle out there, 20 years later, 1992, it was 1972 when we planted the trees. 1992, I took her over and I showed her the tree, and it was a big, humongous tree. She said, my God, she goes, Daddy, you planted that? She was only, 5 years old. And I said, yeah, I planted this tree, and but the park's still there, it's still a nice spot. Well, that's it, Rick. You take care. Show this to your family. I'm sure Luis remembers when he came out. I think it was Luis, Hector, myself, Tony, Raymond. We all came out here to look at where the spot where they picked up Julio, and picked up my tia and all that, and where the accident happened. We actually went up on the freeway, and when you look down from that freeway, boy, it's scary, man. It's harrowing how how he was ejected out and he went down that steep incline, man. Well, you take care, all right? Have a good one. Show this to your family. I think they'll find it interesting. You take care. Bye.